Fans of a Horus heresy, super heavy lords of war, and the linguistic poetry of terminologies such as directional transduction, sonic generator. Thank you very much for joining me for an unboxing video. And today we're taking a look at a new model that I've just bought from a number of years ago. And the very sharp amongst you will have already deduced what we're going to be looking at today. For those who haven't, here we go. Big red Forge World box. That means a super heavy Lord of War type thing. Is it a Titan? Is it something else? It is the Mechanicum Ordinatus Ulator. So this is a super heavy engine of war, an Ordinatus-minoris. So what we're going to do in this video is open up the box, take a look at all the parts inside, have a look at maybe the instructions, show for details, praise the quality, and just generally see what it's about. So without further ado, let's get into it. Well, I say without further ado, I do have an ado to be further about first. So this arrived today, so we're at the start of August in 2023. And just look at the state of the box. This is well and truly roughed and scuffed. Just look at it. Look at that. I don't know if I'm connecting dots here that don't exist, but I've never had a box in this state from Forge World on an online order or indeed in store. So I'm just wondering, why is this box in such a bad state? Now, it could be that it's something to do with a new warehouse where they have an automated robot picking system. So have the picking automata been a bit rough and ready? Interested to know if you have similar experiences. Let's hope that the contents of a box do not mirror the condition of the exterior. Right, we shall quickly activate the scissors of entrance. I checked the product code on this model and it's a code 30 model, so that means it's more recent vintage, so it's not like it's been sat on the shelf for 4 or 5 years in Forge World's warehouse. There you go, see code 30. I do wonder if why the box is in such a bad condition. Right then, let us open. So we shall firstly fight our way past the packaging and the box, which is also undone. This box is not scoring points here. Right, we'll get rid of all that guff. Try not to knock my miniatures over or spill my tea, which is, you know, always an achievement. And then we've got a big bag of parts, a big bag of big parts, a big bag of smaller parts, and a tray of small components. We also have a packing sheet, and oh yes, there we go. We can see this is packaged on the 5th of October 21, so they can't sell many of these. Maybe the box is old. Still, it's in a bit of a state. And then we have a set of instructions, which, ooh, yeah, look at that. It's dinked, a bit damaged. There's a little bit of background. If you are interested in that, have a pause and have a read. As you can see, this is one of the modern style CAD instruction booklets. So this, as far as Forge World instructions go, this should be at least clear as to where all the bits go, more or less. Even if it's not necessarily showing as the best way to put things together. And there we go, there's the final model. And this is copyrighted to 2015, which I believe is the year it was released. So about the time of the first new style instruction. So the first kit I ever saw was the Leviathan Dreadnought. So this would have been a similar early example. Right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to take these bags out of the way, and one by one we're going to go through them and have a quick look at some of the key parts, so you can get a feel for what the different components of this kit look like. So we'll start with a big bag and really big pieces. And these are the Ulator's track units, and there are 4, which is a good start because I know it has 4. Yeah, look at these bunnies. These are very similar in design to the other Mechanicum vehicles, so the Krios tanks and also the Triaros armoured conveyor and the Kraknos assault tank. So it's nice to see that design language blown up to big scale. And as I'm sure you're seeing already, the detailing on these is absolutely immense. These are very nicely done. They're a lot nicer cast than the parts on the Krios. Yeah, I can already tell that. Yeah, this is very nicely turned out. I'm struggling to see much in the way of mould seams. I mean, it's been cut along here, so this has been well taken out the mould carefully. Obviously, where do you put the key on this? This is before the time when they're going to doing separate track unit pieces for key attachment points. So when building, you'd want to be careful with removing this. So razor saw, a nice sharp knife, and taking it nice and steady. Right, let's have a look at the first of the forward ones. That's just a bit of flash. Lovely. I believe that is a mounting point for its defensive volkite culverins, or some of them at least. So moving on to the second of the rear track units. It's an interesting design as this vehicle insofar as the fore and the aft caterpillar units are articulated at a central point. I'm going to be looking forward to doing that bit of building and seeing how I might be able to articulate that. Magnetize a little bit of escape mold. These have been turned out very nicely. Very little cleanup work to do. They've got the mold edge running right down the edge of a track, so that's nice. It's going to be easy to clean up. Lovely. I'm absolutely spot on. Right, let's now move on to bag 2. This is another big bag of big parts. First up, we have the main resonant capacitor, perhaps, of the sonic destructor. Or if you can remember what I said at the start of the video, I can't even remember it, I have to write it down. One of the interesting things with this model, it is very closely tied into the background of the history of Horus Heresy, and in particular a trilogy of audio dramas, so the Black Shields audio dramas by Josh Reynolds. And if you've listened to The False War, you'll understand the importance of this vehicle in the universe. Bit of a mold slip there. Not terrible, and it's out of sight, so that'll fill up or clean out. That's all right. Yeah, looks good. Nice chunky piece as well. This looks like the main turntable mount. Yeah, because you can see there's a set of pistons, and there's going to be a turret or a mounting unit that's going to sit in. Yeah, so lovely. This is really nice. Fantastic detail, as we always see with these Mechanicum vehicles. The detailing is absolutely brilliant. They're very, very impressively designed. Bit of flash there, and a shim, so that'll take a bit of careful cleanup work to do there. A little bit more cleanup to do around there. And that's probably the biggest challenge so far. It's a difficult geometry, isn't it? But this is where having hobby chisels is really useful for cleaning up bits like that. And if you check out some of my other videos in the how-to modelling section, you'll see what I'm on about with hobby chisels. So that looks like part of the turntable on which... Oh no, it's not a turntable, no. This... I showed you that piece, I missed all the details. This is the main array, sonic resonator or whatever it is, of the sonic destructor. Look at those fine details there. That's beautiful. Love that. So now let's move on to the insert for the track unit. So these are very nicely done. They will go like that. So you've got all these interior details once it's built. That's nicely done. Got good detailing on the inward facing side because it's very visible. So it's good to see that attention to detail. And again here on the first of the two for the larger track unit. Again, lots of Mechanicum gubbins there to make this thing move. I almost imagine each track unit has its own power system, own independent power system. I kind of imagine it so it has redundancy against battle damage. Moving on at pace, we have another inner, small, bit more mold slippage there. Now that is going to be recessed within this. So will that show? I think it might do, so that will need sorting out. That might be a filler job, that. Otherwise that's alright. I mean, it's always a challenge with hand casters in models, or even semi-automated casters in models like Forge World. Maybe a bit of a warp on that. You will get some mold slips. As long as they're not huge as to destroy details and make them unrecoverable, then as long as they're minor, then I find I can work with them. This looks like the rear section or part of the rear section of the sonic destructor. And presumably we've got a heatsink here, nice detailing, and these things, perhaps these are thrombulent capacitors. Internal shims here, so with a drill, a scalpel, opportunity to cut these shims out here and enhance the detail around these, that heavy tubing, heavy pipe work. This piece here is the rear cruise section. This kind of goes like that. There's a point defense volkite culverin that goes here. It's two sort of like automata things. They're a bit like skillax, really, that crew it. Is it 2 or is it 3? I think it's 2. But yeah, very nice. I do really like the crazy gubbins design of this. So the last model I did a video on, the Mechanicum Ordinatus Ulator. It's just a fantastic model and such a wacky design, and yeah, just so chuffed that they made these. Which is why I bought them, because if I ever go out of production, I wanted to have one of these at some point. So I've put off buying things like the Mastodon to get this first, because I think this is more of a endangered species. So yeah, that's nicely cast. Lovely detailing with these buttresses and the main sort of sonic cannon, and perhaps when I get around to doing a video on the build, don't expect that for at least a month, I'll do a bit of background reading around sonic weaponry. There's pop culture around it, but there is some real world applications as humans look for ever more novel ways to blow people up. This piece here, I think, yeah, that sort of goes like that. And this is part of that command dais where the skillax crew things. There's a little bit of cleanup to do on these spring things, and that's a little bit tatty there, a bit of filling needed. Overall though, I'm very pleased with the quality of the part so far. It's been nice to turn down. The kit has a nice smooth feel to it, while obviously it needs a proper wash. I'm not coming across any evidence here of excessive mold release agent, which is always a good sign. So this, I believe, is the ball joint for part of the crawler array. So we'll see if we can come across the part that interfaces with. And here's another part, this trestle. This is another part of the tracked crawler array. A little bit of a mold seam to do there. More to do here. Bit of a defect there that'll need filling with some milliput. Overall though, nice. And then finally, this is part of one of the most wacky and amusing parts of this model, which is the targetoscope. So it has this huge, looks like some sort of giant telescope array that is presumably utilised in the targeting of this most curious of weapons. And there we can see it on the instruction. There's all the items there. So it is code number 43, which is primary sight. There you go. I think it's quite funny that, there we go, there's a primary sight. The main sight array. I quite like the idea of them looking down this enormous telescope to sight it. There's something wonderfully anachronistic about that, which you could only really get away with in the 4K universe. Right, moving on to the big bag of smaller pieces. Let's start with this first. So this is the tip of the sonic destructor. Yeah, love that. Another lemon squeezer of death to go in the Mechanicum's arsenal. This dish that's part of the sonic destructor assembly. That's the first of, I think, 3. Here we go. Got another 2, so these are going to sort of like stack into quite an elaborate setup. And the detailing on this, once you get them together, is absolutely wonderful. A little bit to clean up. There's a bit of a mold slip there. I mean, I'll sort that out. I might cut it away. I might fill it and then smooth it. Not too bad. It's workable. And believe it or not, I always do try fix parts that have got slight casting faults on them, because it's far quicker than having them replaced by Forge World. So that normally takes 2 weeks at least. And a load of email correspondence, and it's just faff. This, I presume, is more of a tracked crawler array. A little bits of cleanup here and there on the inside particularly. But great, such a fascinating design. This really is an intriguing model. That is going to connect onto that thingy. So I'll be putting some hefty pins in this, because this will probably have quite a bit of weight on it. This is the main mounting pivot for the sonic destructor. So there you go. It goes like that. Immediately interested to see if I can articulate this or if it won't. If I can articulate it, I'm going to, so I think it'll be fun. A couple of pipes. Okay, so that's the worst mold slip yet. So this is going to be bit of an embuggerance, as the late great Harry Pratchett would have put it. Let's have a look. I mean, I think I can fix that. A bit of filler and a bit of cutting. A bit annoying. Would have been nice not to have this, because that'll take probably an hour to fix, you know. That's like an hour of my life I'm going to have to spend fixing that. But it is recoverable. Now then, these four are the suspension arms. So think McPherson struts. These are suspension arms for the front track unit. So I don't know if anyone's a car mechanic who could tell me if this would be a McPherson strut design or a multi-link suspension design. Perhaps you can tell me, but that's what it makes me think of, and you can see how these are, and they're supposed to sort of articulate like this with the hull and then the track unit. Yeah, I like those. Unusual design, and nothing the likes of which I've ever seen on a Games Workshop model. So there's now just quite the cornucopia of intriguing details. So here we have some tubes. I think these sit on the back of the sonic destructor. Bit of clean up here. Overall, not too bad. Not sure what this is. I'll slip to remove there. Oh, right. So you see there on the instructions, this is like the part of the forward track assembly, and I think on there the disruption shield is going to mount. Have I come across a disruption shield yet? This mighty thing. So this is a disruption shield. The Ordinatus Ulator has got a unique form of, well, it's slightly a void shield, partially a flare shield, maybe a bit of an atomantic deflector that goes here. Quite unusual. It is interesting. It gives the Ulator a degree of damage resilience in the first turn of the game that no other unit can really match. It's extremely tough when protected by this shield. These are the mounting pistons for the sonic destructor, so there's some mold slips take off on these. Are not too bad though. Doable. And that answers my question. No, they aren't designed to articulate. So if I want these to articulate, I'll have to cut these off, drill them out, extend the piston, and then have some sort of telescoping arrangement. So I'll have a think about that. So as it's not designed to rotate, I might actually invest some time in seeing if I can make the sonic destructor elevate and depress. Set myself a little challenge there, haven't I? See, I'm feeling cocky after finishing the Mechanicum Ordinatus. So here we have the Skillax things, which are the crew. I'm not sure if my friend the Gory Crow from Instagram is watching, but if he is, you know, these are the sort of things that I imagine skulking around in your world of Mechanicum nasties. Very nicely detailed miniatures. Unique to this kit, I believe. You don't get them in any of the other Ulators. A couple of pistons. The mold seam cleanup work to do there. As has generally been the case with this, and this is true of all Forge World models, fantastic detailing. This looks like a... I wonder what this wheel does. Is this a wheel to elevate the gun, or is it perhaps part of the telescope? Yes, a nice cog. Nicely cast as well. Some good details there. Okay, so getting into the tail end of this bag, we've got a couple of bits which I really don't know what these are. They look interesting though. I'm intrigued to find out what those are. We've got a couple of ribbed pipes, which are nicely cast. We've got another cog. If this cog interfaces with that in a way that can be made to move, I'll be so excited to make it move. Now let's take a look at point defense weaponry. So if a sonic destructor is not enough to protect this thing, and it might not be as as deadly as that is, you may need to kill some nuisance guys. Well, why not have 15 shots worth of heavy volkite fire as well? I mean, I wouldn't say no. So two of these two are going to go on sponson mounts on the front track units, and then this one is going to mount on command dais, I think I called it earlier, here on that post. Very interesting. Snazzy. I've been temporarily defeated by the sellotape of no entry. Ha 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 ha, we are in. Right, let us begin. Right, I'm going to grab a whole handful of these. So these are the petals of resonant doom. Trademark leakycheese. And the petals of resonant doom are going to go around the main throbbulent array for generating the woods of death, which are going to go downrange and very much destroy anything in its path. I mean, even Titans, the armor penetration on this thing is absolutely bonkers. I believe in Heresy 2.0, this can score higher penetration on an armor penetration roll than any other weapon, and a maximum score of 28. If you think anything else can beat it, leave it in the comments, but I think this is the most powerful single gun in terms of hitting power. Absolutely nuts. Doesn't have AP1, so you know it's not quite up there with the Bellicosa, but in terms of punching through armour, this can score the highest. Lovely designs, and that whole sort of resonator array is going to look absolutely brilliant, I think. We then have another member of the crew. You know, if you can call this crew. I mean, I suppose technically speaking, it's crew, and it's probably got a brain in it. Maybe not someone you'd go out to the pub after work with. And then we have a selection of rather pleasingly designed mechano arms, which I believe are going to go on these curious fellows. Now I've got this amusing idea of the 3 crew going down to the Mechanicum pub. I missed this piece, it must have fallen on the floor. This is part of the command dice, and we've got a variety of targeting scopes and key cogitators. I do like that, again, sticking with that theme of anachronism, you've got this very old style keyboard. We have some suspension, what do you call these? Shock absorbers, that's it. Slip to remove there. Some shock absorbers which form part of the front track unit assembly. And then a few more bits. So there's these, which are shield emitters. I'm not sure where they go actually. Yeah, they look like power field emitters. Might be something else. Love the detailing on them though. We have, I think these are all part of the mounting mechanisms for the Volkite coverings on the forward track units. I'm not sure what these are, but they look like pegs and pins. So mountings for something. And then finally, we'll finish on a rather chunky and intricately piece of cabling. Very nice. That's beautifully cast. Very well turned out. Gorgeous. Spot on. There you go, an unboxing of the Mechanicum Ordinatus-minoris Ulator. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the components for this fantastically conceived and detailed model. What a wonderful contraption this is. Yes, I think contraption is a great way of describing this vehicle. Yes, I hope you found this an interesting unboxing video. So overall, excellent casting quality on the parts. Nicely turned out, not much in the way of mould release. Apart from that one pipe, and there's only modest amounts of cleanup required. Overall, yeah, excellent. Really pleased with this and looking forward to building it. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic project, I think. So I hope you found this look at this unusual kit good. I don't think there's been much content made on this, so I hope you've enjoyed taking a deep dive into the parts. As always, please do share your own thoughts and observations in the comment section. I'll be interested to hear those. But other than that, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. I'll speak to you next time, and goodbye.